me tell you something, Jim Ross, and you simple-minded people. I had a dream last night. Oh, yes, and it was a beautiful dream. I dreamed that I was on the front porch of the Double Cross Ranch, and my father, who's long since gone, was there in a swing, swinging with me. And up drove a long black limousine, and the left front fender was dented in, and the door opened, and out stepped a beautiful lady. And my daddy said, "Woman, what happened to your left front fender?" And she says, "I ran over some kind of an animal on the road. I don't know what it was." My daddy said, "Well, what did it look like?" And she says, "Well, it had great big ears, and it had nostrils, big, huge nostrils, about 5 inches apart. And it had horse teeth, and it smelled real bad." And my daddy said, "My world, girl, you must have ran over a jackass." And I said, "What did it smell like?" She said, "It smelled like hairspray and cheap cologne." I said, "Woman, you didn't run over any jackass. You ran over Ric Flair. Is he dead?" She says, "No, but the last time I saw him, he was running scared." Well, let me tell you something, Ric Flair. You look at me in the eye because I am looking at you. You realize that you must live not in the future, because there is none. You must live in the past. Give up that belt, or I'll stick your neck out one more time for me. Stick it out for me, Flair. You gutless individual. I'm talking to you.
That's enough.
Stick it out. Stick it out.
We're not going to listen anymore to this, fans. We'll be back with the Steiners.
And welcome back to Retro Wrestling Games Presents. I'm your host, Lex G, and with me, as always, Matt Riley. How you doing tonight, Matt?
Reboot!
We had some technical difficulties earlier, so this is gonna be take 2 for us. So on tonight's episode, we're gonna take a look at Wrestle Kingdom 2, Pro Wrestling World War, for the PlayStation 2. Now, Wrestle Kingdom 2 was released by Yuke's in 2007. For the PlayStation 2, this is a Japanese exclusive. Some of the modes of play are as follows. We have exhibition matches, where a player can select from different match types. So you have your single match, tag team, 3-way, handicap, 4-way match, 5-on-5, team battle, and a gauntlet. There's different rules for these matches, so you can choose normal, hardcore, shoot rules, or MMA rules. The matches can be altered to make other various types of matches, so that's pretty fun. There's no cage matches because there's no cage matches in Japan. So what are you gonna do? You have tournaments, so you can do. There's different championships that you can pick as the prize for your tournament. So you have the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. That's for the G1 Climax. The IWGP Junior Heavyweight. You can use the Best of the Super Juniors and the Triple Count the Triple Crown Heavyweight Championship at the Champion Carnival, and the World Junior Heavyweight Championship at the Super J Cup. There's a campaign mode, and the player must select a specific wrestling event and prepare a stable of wrestlers to compete against the computer. As the event matches are put together, then wagers are made for power-ups unlockable such as wrestlers, moves, and items. The type of match is determined based on the event selected. There's a large number of locations and events in this mode, and more appear as the player progresses. In terms of extra materials, there's trophy sections. You give you wrestler bios and in-game progress and unlockables. There are title histories and interviews. Some of the interviews that are available, you get Gedo, Tenru, Tanahashi, Jado, Jushin Thunder Liger, Kaz Hayashi, Kejimoto, Kensuke Sasaki, Koji Kawamoto, Masahiro Chono, Kojima, Nakamura, Fujinami, Tiger Mask, Kawada, and so on and so forth. So I think overall, if you take a look at this game in terms of graphical capabilities, I think this is the most they could ever get out of the PlayStation 2. It looks very smooth. Kind of reminds me of a Day of Reckoning for the GameCube. That's a good game, by the way. That's underrated. No one knows about that game. One of the cool things you can do in this game, and again, it's more geared to Japanese wrestling, is when you get your meter filled up, you can unleash a barrage of finishing maneuvers to kind of finish off your opponent. So much like Japanese wrestling, where it's 3 finishers and then a clothesline for the win, it kind of mimics that style. There's an edit mode where you can edit your wrestlers and so forth, so that's pretty cool. I think the controls overall are pretty smooth. I mean, again, we're talking about PlayStation 2 back in 2007. They're not going to be the best controls. They have spirit balls, and they're used for various type of things. So you can do spirit countering, where you can just basically use a ball to counter your opponent's attacks. Good for finishers. You have a finisher state. Again, that's how you basically activate all your finishing maneuvers. You have a burst mode where you enter a frenzy state, and your moves become uncountable. And then you have kickouts. So basically, if someone nails you with a finisher and you're out for the count, if you have some spirit balls, you can do an amazing kickout. False finish, perhaps. When you build up 5 power balls, you can enter finishing mode by pressing, square. What you can do when you're in finisher mode, you can obviously do your finisher. You can steal your opponent's finisher, and then you can do super finishers, which is a big thing in Japan. Japan has a super finisher, like the Burning Hammer for Katabashi is a super finisher. He only uses like 3 or 4 times ever, and when he hits that, it's basically over.
Super duper kick.
Yeah, and his head goes flying into the audience. What a punch!
He did have a hard time coming back from that one, Bob. Oh my god!
Alright, so I'm going to quickly go over the roster. So we have Masahiro Chono, we have Tenzan, Yuji Nagata, Nakayashi, Nakamura of NXT fame, he's in the game, Tanahashi, Yamamoto, Giant Bernard, your good friend, A-Train, is in the game.
Oh, jeez.
Riki Choshu, Taguchi, Inoue, Gedo, Jado, Tiger Mask 4, Minoru, Kamamoto, Jushin Thunder Liger, Keijimoto, Kojima, Taioke, Taru, Sawama, The Great Muda, Rongai, Taka Michinoku, Brother Yashishi, Kondo, Kazuyashi, Fuchi, Kazuki Sasaki, Takayama, Kawada, Tenru, Tatsuma Fujinami, Fujiwara, Nishimura, Makakami, Akebono, Nakajima, Milano Collection AT, Tajiri, Hayabusa, Tony Onoki, Jumbo Shiruda, Medea, Funaki, Onita, the original Tiger Mask, Dick Byer, the Destroyer, makes an appearance in the game.
Ah.
Dick Murdoch, Terry Gordy, Steve Williams, Tiger Jeet Singh,
Jeet.
The Sheik, Abdul the Butcher, Dory Funk Jr., Terry Funk, Big Van Vader, Stan Hansen, Hashimoto. So that is your roster for this game. Again, the roster is stacked. Again, it has wrestlers from New Japan, All Japan, free agents, legends, and these are all officially licensed. So it's not like Fire Pro where you have to change the name or the look of them. No, these are all legit. So Matt, I know you saw a clip of it. What'd you think of the game?
It looked pretty okay. The thing I thought was kind of weird was that there'd be like these pause moments where it's like stop the action, show you this weird little angle, or there was one where he hulked up.
Yeah, that's the finisher state.
Oh, okay. It was like, oh.
Well, that's again, that is Japanese style. They all kind of have their hookups. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where like nothing hurts them, and then they don't sell shit, and then they went with a lariat.
No. Rainmaker!
I'm sorry, but the lariat in Japan is equal to the pile driver in Memphis, where people get nailed with that, and that's over.
Really?
Yeah. Thank you, Stan Hansen, for that.
Wow.
The Stan Hansen would fucking take your head off with that fucking thing. So guys, that is Wrestle Kingdom 2. I think overall, I think it's a really good game. I would definitely go out and seek it out if you've not played that game. Again, this game is in Japanese, so make sure that you have a translation guide handy. You need a Japanese PlayStation 2 or a modded PlayStation 2 to play this game. This won't work on your American consoles. So just make sure that if you're interested in purchasing this game, that you do make sure that you have the proper hardware to run it. I'm sure you can get it emulated on the internet as well, but we don't like to talk about that. So, since this game is Wrestle Kingdom, we're going to take some time out to talk about the pay-per-view event, Wrestle Kingdom, which just happened about a week ago and had that fantastic Kenny Omega versus Okada match on it. Again, going through Wrestle Kingdom, it started in 1992. It was the WCW New Japan Super Show 2, also known as Super Warriors in the Tokyo Dome. So this is an event that's been going on for quite a while. It's the second biggest event after WrestleMania in the world, the biggest event outside the United States. Always takes place in the Tokyo Dome, and some of their they draw big numbers over there. For example, the one in 1993, the Fantastic Story in Tokyo Dome, which is the New Japan WCW Super Show 3, drew 63,000 people in the dome.
Wow.
So again, this is a big time event. They always draw a lot of people. There's been some slow years in the early 2000s when they weren't doing that great. But I think overall the event has been fantastic. Taking a look at the most recent Wrestle Kingdom, which is Wrestle Kingdom 11 in the Tokyo Dome, of course. We had Okada, who is the defending IWGP Heavyweight Champion, taking on the winner of the G1 Climax, Kenny Omega, who wasn't wrestling a blow-up doll at this event, which is good.
Blow-up doll, yes.
Or a 9-year-old girl. So I'm just going to quickly go over the card right quick, and then we're going to spend some time talking about the main event. So we had the New Japan Rumble, which is Matt's favorite event on the card, with your favorite wrestler, your new favorite wrestler, Cheeseburger, on it.
Ugh, goddamn Cheeseburger. As I said in the critique, anybody I see wrestle, you have to have a certain level of fear or see as a threat, like, oh, that guy could probably whoop my ass or be competitive. And he looks like he walked off the Walking Dead extra team and was like, sandwich, please. Ugh.
Wait till he's WWE World Champion someday.
Oh.
I want to constantly bombard you with Cheeseburger clips, by the way, from Ring.
No.
So just keep that in mind until you're a fan of his.
I'll go into wrestling and cripple him in the ring, and then I'll be then called the Whopper.
So, I love it. Go in as the Whopper and beat up Cheeseburger. That's great. So also in this match, we had Michael Elgin, we had Billy Gunn, we had Bone Soldier, Cheeseburger, Hiro Sato, Tenzan, Jushin Thunder Liger, Kobayashi, Nadashishi, Taguchi, Scott Norton, Tiger Mask, Yoshitatsu, and Yuji Nagata. I think you made the point on a prior show that it looked like a bad Royal Rumble where they just had all the gimmick guys come in or the really old guys come in. Although I thought Scott Norton looked great, by the way.
He did.
So did Billy Gunn. He looks freaking jacked. Looks good. He's 50 years old.
He does. He is. So is Goldberg.
Yeah. Like Billy Gunn could have another run, I think.
Could be.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to think if I was booking this show instead of just putting all these just awful in there, draw in some guys from overseas and bring the exposure up. Bring in some potential touring people.
Yeah.
Show what you can do, kid.
So the real opener, again, the New Japan Rumble, which is a staple of Wrestle Kingdom, has been going on for a few years. I was on the pre-show. The first match up was Tiger Mask W taking on Tiger the Dark. So, Matt, what are your thoughts on the new Tiger Mask?
Wasn't it based off the cartoon or something like that, or the game?
Well, the original Tiger Mask is based on an anime series.
Right.
Which is, if you've ever seen the original Tiger Mask cartoon, it's awesome because you see, Dominic DeNucci in it and, Jerry Briscoe.
Really?
Yeah. And they had this is pre-split, so this is when they were still together, and you would see Baba and Inoki kind of riding around in cars and shit. So that was always cool to see.
Huh.
So this they created a new Tiger Mask cartoon, which I watch, and I think it's really good. So guys, if you have not watched it on Crunchyroll, that's where you can find that. Actually, just watching it, you gotta watch it with subtitles because it's not dubbed in English. But I think it's fantastic. Good show. One of the best shows I've seen this year in terms of anime. Tiger Mask W is the new Tiger Mask, so this is basically based off the new cartoon. What do you think of the mask, though?
I don't mind it.
Okay.
I'm a little different.
And you know who's playing Tiger Mask, right?
No.
It's Ibushi.
Really?
You might remember him from WWE. He was in the Cruiserweight Classic.
Oh.
So,
all right.
I want you guys to keep that in mind. And Tiger the Dark, did you have a problem with him being black?
No.
Okay. Because it's weird because they call him Tiger the Dark and he's a black man.
Well, yeah. Well.
And he's portrayed by ACH. If you've not seen ACH, he's fantastic. He works at Ring of Honor currently. He's a great worker. I think he's going to be a big star at some point. So.
Big star, I say. Big star.
Third match was Roppongi Vice. Beretta and Rocky Romero defeated the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson.
Fuji Vice?
Roppongi Vice, not Fuji Vice. Okay. Roppongi is an area of Japan which I believe is a big party scene area.
Okay.
And there's a lot of it's the big trans town, from what I understand.
Oh.
Yeah, so there you go. What are your thoughts on the Young Bucks overall, with their super kicks and such?
I didn't like them at first because kind of like Cheeseburger, but I think the more I see them, the more they grow on me.
Yeah.
I do enjoy I like the comedy part of it. We've talked before, being open to the comedy aspect of biz to enjoy, and that's what I'm about. I'm on board with that, if you will.
And these guys are definitely over. I mean, they threw every single belt on them. They, Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, the PWG Tag Team Champions.
Right.
They were the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. So those guys are definitely over. And again, I saw them pretty early on. They had matches with Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly that were fantastic in Ring of Honor. So I really like those guys. I think those guys they're huge stars as it is. I don't think they don't even need WWE at this point because they're making so much money with their T-shirt sales and working all the big indies in the United States and abroad as well. So
yeah, it was funny that I was watching the post Tokyo Dome video they put out, and just the way he keeps plugging their website.
Yeah,
it reminds me of Triple H and Shawn Michaels. I enjoyed that bit. That was a fun bit.
Yeah. So the next match you had L.I.J., who took on David Finlay, Ricochet, and Kojima, and the Bullet Club of Bad Luck Fale, Hangman Page, and Tanahashi, who is the Tokyo Pimp.
Okay.
Again, it was a 6-man gauntlet match. You also had Chaos with Jado, Will Ospreay, and Yoshihashi. I wish we saw more Ricochet in this match. Again, I'm a huge Ricochet fan. I wish they really pushed him. I wish he was featured more in the match.
Okay.
Although I did really like Hangman Page. I think Adam Page is coming into his own at this point. So that was it. I think it was a fun match, and it was pretty good. Next up, we had Cody Rhodes taking on Juice Robinson, who also known as CJ Parker from NXT, for those who are so inclined to look that up. And I think Cody looked real good. What do you think about Cody?
I'm looking forward to it. I think he looked good. I do think it'll be interesting to see how he plays out. Just overall, I think that he needed to reboot or rekindle, so this will be good for him, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, we have Adam Cole, who defeated Kyle O'Reilly for the Ring of Honor World Championship. I think Kyle O'Reilly, he might be going to NXT at this point. For those of you who don't remember, Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole were a tag team. They're named Future Shock and Ring of Honor, and they did some fantastic stuff over there. And it's good to see. It's like when you see a tag team grow, you usually see like one guy become a star and another guy becomes Jim Neidhart. And it doesn't really go anywhere. Marty Jannetty. I think both these guys they can wrestle each other forever at this point and have fantastic matches. So I'm curious to see what's going to go forward in terms of Ring of Honor. So that might be interesting too. I wish Ring of Honor got in a good TV station in New York, but they don't. You can barely find them. So sucks. The 7th match was Chaos, who defeated the Guerrillas of Destiny and GBH. I love Guerrillas of Destiny, by the way. Tama Tonga, Tanga Rowe, who are the kids of Haku.
Really?
Yeah. Tama Tonga, who's my favorite, he is the anti-Roman Reigns. Like, he's Roman Reigns, but cooler.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I love the face paint, the war paint on him. I think that was fantastic. Tama Tonga, he didn't get a contract from WWE when they brought him and his brother in. Tanga Roa, you may remember as Camacho in the WWE. Maybe some of you don't remember him as Camacho in the WWE, but
vaguely.
But it kind of sucked because one of them was signed and the other one was sent packing, and that was kind of sad to see. But now they're together again in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and they're really tearing it up again. I want to see Tama Tonga versus Roman Reigns, because if Tama is as tough as his dad, Haku was the man. So I love Haku. Why is he not in the Hall of Fame? Fucking A.
Drugs, wasn't it, or arrests?
No, he's pretty. Other than taking someone's eyeball out of their head, he's been pretty clean. You don't fuck with Haku. He's the toughest man in wrestling. Who do you think would win in the prime, Haku or Brock Lesnar?
Haku.
Yeah, because Brock would have no eyeballs left. Awesome. Next up, you have Tanahashi, who defeated Kushida, and this is for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. I thought that was an okay match. It was pretty good. There's not a whole lot to say about it. Matt, what do you think about it?
Well, it was all right.
Yeah. Perfectly acceptable wrestling.
Yeah.
So next up, you had Haruki Goto versus Shibata. I like Shibata. I think he's going to be a big star. So watch out for him in the future. Again, he really does that strong style, like I'm really going to hit you as hard as I possibly can style, which may not translate in the United States, but I think it's pretty. It works in Japan. So you gotta understand that the kind of way it works. They work that style. I mean, obviously, we've seen strong style guys come over, like Nakamura, for example. And the little bit that he does is always really tight and really good, unless he's breaking someone's face, like Austin Aries. But I think Nakamura's match with I almost called him out Generico, but with Sami Zayn may have been the match of the year for 2016. So be on the lookout for Shibata in the future. And then next up, you had Naito, who defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. And the thing about Tanahashi, he is more of a sports entertainer than we may be used to in terms of Japan. Not that he doesn't hit hard, and that's not that he has good matches, but you can tell it's like, oh, okay. He's not just coming out in black trunks and black boots. You know, this guy is definitely a big star.
Yeah.
So I'm really I see big things from him in the future. I think I saw him at a Ring of Honor show, but I don't remember. And then the match of the night, which may have been the match of the year already for 2017, Okada with Guido defeated Kenny Omega with the Young Bucks. So Matt, what did you think about this match?
Like I said, the Young Bucks are growing on me. I do think, I don't want to say it's becoming like you've watched too much of them, you see their spots coming.
Yeah.
But it's like a lot of things. You watch them too many times, you see what's kind of coming, or you have an idea what's going to go next. And I think that's what's impressive is they do a good job of, like, you know, altering that, if you will. You know, just keeping it fresh, which is important. I like the match. I do worry they take a little bit risky bumps. So
that backdrop to the table was insane.
Yeah.
He could have went out Rick Rude. Remember, Rick Rude took a bump because New Japan, for the Dome, they elevate the ring and did a step down. And Rude hurt his back on that, and it ended his career for the most part.
Yeah.
Definitely don't want guys getting hurt like that, because it's ridiculous. From what I understand, this match got 6 stars. Is it the greatest match? Is it better than Steamboat and Savage?
Oof. You know, I think for a lot of people, the Steamboat Savage match is the holy grail.
Yeah.
And I think it's because a couple of things. One is it's only 15 minutes longer. It's not long at all.
Oh, that's true.
You know, and I think it's the one in WrestleMania 3, so they had so much time to work with anyways. But they timed it well. It was fast-paced. It was, you know, the build-up behind it, you know, perfect delivery. I think these two, Kenny Omega, it was funny because I remember, you know, a long time ago people would say, oh, that guy lost the match, but, like, he was a way better wrestler.
Right.
Because he made the guy look good. But I think, you know, they put both each other over pretty well. The only thing I'd say about the match is, after a while, we saw, you know, a lot of similar spots or moves. I will say Okada needs to work on his facial selling. He just kind of has this blank expression to him.
You call that the Canadian style, because they don't have any facials in Canada.
Oh, Benoit.
Again, this match got 6 stars, which has never happened before. I'm concerned about the hype on this match, because I don't want to hype this match too much and then people watch it and get disappointed with it. But I think overall, it's fantastic. Kenny Omega has come into his own over the last year to be one of the best workers in wrestling currently. So hopefully 2017 is a big year for him. Again, when people have these kind of matches, when they're so good, you always hear the rumblings about, oh, WWE wants to sign them and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see how that goes. I know he's taking a little bit of a break right now, so...
I saw a YouTube video and it was saying, oh, well, now that he's had this big match, is he, you know, Raw bound? I think if he makes them wait, he only gets bigger.
Yeah.
If he stays healthy, he only gets bigger and his price tag goes up. Because I was thinking, like, if you had him at the Royal Rumble now, you'd have a lot of fans who knew him, like AJ Styles. Yeah. But if you waited, and let's say, like, even a year to the next Royal Rumble, let's say he's had the title run under his belt and whatever else, you know, and he's giving the, you know, belt to the next guy, and he's moving up. That would be, if you had like AJ Styles, because of the history between them, and Kenny Omega comes out, oh man. I will say one of my favorite things about the match, underrated, but having the Bucks at ringside helped because the clapping on the mat to the Terminator theme music. Holy shit. It was awesome. It's a small touch, but it plays into his character and the idea and everything else. It just, I'll probably watch it. It was funny. I sent that link to a coworker, this guy John, who was like, I really want to see the match. He went to watch it and couldn't get the link to work. So they're jumping all over these. But he's like, I'm going to try to find them. I said, you'll find it out there.
That's there.
So those folks listening, if you're using illicit means to do it, do it. Do it now. Be evil. I
recommend everyone to subscribe to New Japan World, which is their streaming service, much like the WWE Network. You can see all the old school matches on there as well, and any new events that pop up. Again, I believe it's the same price point as the WWE Network. Again, the barrier to entry on a lot of these is that you don't understand Japanese, and while some of their bigger shows, they have American commentators on it, most of the shows they don't.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a barrier to entry there. Some televisions or some, there are some things out there where you can get it kind of translated in terms of subtitles.
Yeah.
If you have a TV that's so inclined to do that. But it's never 100%, and it's kind of just broken English. So you can't really understand it anyway. But if you're a fan of Japanese wrestling and you get past the commentary, definitely subscribe to that because it's awesome. I recently actually canceled mine because I wanted to check out some stuff on High Spots because I have a subscription with them. I can't get everyone's subscriptions. I already paid WWE and High Spots. It's $20 a month.
Right.
But I did have it, and I thought it was great, and I'll probably get it again once I watch everything I want to watch on High Spots. So, in terms of Kenny Omega, going back to that real quick, I don't think he's the star of AJ Styles in the United States. Again, don't forget about AJ Styles' big run in TNA for all that time. So he was a bigger star in the States. But we can definitely see maybe Kenny Omega spends a year in Ring of Honor kind of building up his American fanfare to a level where he can bypass NXT and end up right on SmackDown or Raw.
Oh, I definitely think nowadays the way you want to debut at, there is either... I still think Jericho's entrance is one of the best of all time.
Yeah.
But I think that build-up. But if they make it a special event or, Royal Rumble where you're like... And again, Royal Rumble, remember AJ came out and was like, holy shit,
Yep, it was a big deal.
Yeah. So,
But you might see Samoa Joe this year because they just signed Chris Hero back. And it looks like he's going to feud with Nakamura, which frees up Samoa Joe to come up to the main roster. So it's a good possibility that we might see Samoa Joe at the Royal Rumble, and if he does, be pulling for him to win it. Because I think he changes the game. Because he could automatically have a feud with AJ Styles. He could automatically have a feud with John Cena. He could automatically have a feud with Roman Reigns, right off the bat.
Yeah.
Like the Roman Reigns feud, I had that in my head where, Joe is pissed off because other Samoans don't get the hype that the Samoan dynasty gets because he's not part of it. So his parents were professional wrestlers, his grandparents were professional wrestlers. He's not The Rock's cousin, and that could be a really interesting matchup where he just brings that stuff up. That's how I would write that, by the way. And then we've seen matches with Joe and AJ in the past, and those have always been fantastic. So, but I think there's an opportunity since the WWE is branching out. And they're accumulating talent, which seems like, especially when they're looking to add other kind of promotions in the UK and what have you, and doing a lot of things that they've never done before. Well, they have in the early 80s, but they haven't done since then. So we don't know who could be in the Royal Rumble. They can bring in a Ring of Honor guy. They can bring in anyone they want.
Right.
You might see some guys from Evolve on there because they have a relationship with them. So, it makes the Rumble more interesting because I know for a fact that Carlos Colon is not coming out, and Dory Funk Jr. and No Mascaras, which they've done in the past.
Please, no Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to see anyone, and I know this is a big leap, but I don't want to see anyone that has a legit chance to win. You're probably going to see, what's his face there, skinny, no neck, no chin. Oh, God, the guy that was AJ Styles Thorne.
Oh, fucking Ellsworth?
Yeah, you're going to see him probably.
He might be number one. He'll beat up by somebody.
Right. But I always think back to Rocky. I know you're a big fan of Rocky.
Yes.
But if you took some practical unknown who had the charisma to do it and pull it off, and had them weave the story of this is my one shot, and have it be someone who, maybe legit is, has experience.
Right.
But... has always just either had whatever, comes in and all of a sudden gets that shot. And I think you could do it way better than you could with just Roman Reigns, John Cena, Undertaker. We've already seen that. I think they always build it backwards. Don't build your winner by who you want to have at WrestleMania. Build WrestleMania by who your winner is.
Right.
And say, okay, well, let's see what we can do.
So I'm hoping maybe see surprises in the Royal Rumble, and I think Kenny Omega's career is on the uptake. I'm a big fan of his, so I'm curious to see what he does in 2017. Maybe you can see him in TNA since they were recently purchased by Anthem Sports. So whatever Kenny decides to do, I wish him luck, and I hope to see him on a big stage, and maybe at the Superdome. They just announced that the next WrestleMania, I believe 34 is going to be at the Superdome.
Yeah.
So, hopefully we see him there. So, fantastic. So, guys, before I wrap things up again, I definitely want to recommend Wrestle Kingdom 2 for the PlayStation 2. Again, don't forget that you're going to need to import this game from Japan or find someone locally who has a game. And you're going to need a Japanese PlayStation 2 or a modded region-free PlayStation 2 to play this game. Again, have your translation guide handy because you're going to need it. But overall, I think the game is extremely fun. It's smooth. I think the moves are, easy to learn, hard to master, like a good game should. And I think there's a lot of things you can do in this game. Lots of fun. So I definitely recommend going out and purchasing this game. All right, guys. So we're officially out of time. So for Matt Riley, I'm Lex G.